if you look, the new Porch Group Media Network and this partnership with Strategist now offers Connect TV, and there are only one of 4 companies able to do this with this partnership. And Michelle and Charlie, let's talk a little bit more about the advantages of advanced CTV and how you guys are really opening up all these opportunities for our advertisers out there. Michelle, do you want to kick us off in this area?
Sure, I'd love to. I think that it's just really interesting, especially as we go and talk to a lot of the customers in our customer base. Because the minute I talk about adding CTV into their current program, their eyes instantly get like really big because they're thinking, I'm going to ask them for like a huge budget, right? Because normally when you think of TV, I think you think easily of 6 figures, if not $1 million, right? And so the cool thing about what we can do with Strategist is that, you know, we can do a small, meaningful campaign that's not going to eat up their entire marketing budget. And that gives them the opportunity to test and learn into CTV compared to linear without going and getting additional budget. They could actually use budget that they already have in plan, which I think was one of the things that's just really exciting for what we can do. And then with CTV, the way that we measure it and do attribution and really are able to target to that individual, that's just game changer for us, right? So we've been able to even talk to some very small clients, you know, up to the bigger brands. And it's just really flexible and it could work across pretty much anyone that's interested in testing the channel.
I know, Charlie, earlier this week we were catching up and you mentioned, you know, some of your campaigns are as small as $15,000. And again, when you think about starting test and learn, you know, with this media and putting that Porch data set behind, you know, how you can target, you know, wow, that really opens up some interesting test and learn opportunities for those small and medium-sized companies or even larger brands who may want to test in a sub-segment audience or what have you. Charlie, talk to us a little bit about the advantages in that area.
I will. You just said so many interesting things. Your introduction. I want to do a little bit of a catch up and then get to the point. And Michelle just one of the key ones, which is that this is a very it seems daunting, but it's actually a really, really easy world to enter, budget wise and so forth. But you know, the Albertsons Kroger, if I go, you know, just we don't have to go back to that slide, I'll just refer to it. That is going to massively reshape advertising as well. And because what's going to happen is this whole convergence of CTV and retail media networks is about raising standards, and it's about raising the standards of audience creation through first party data, through messaging, which is perhaps, you know, that's a whole topic we could do at another time, and measurement. And so just think about what happens when the largest advertisers in the world, you know, the retailers, but also I think it's the CPG companies, you know, the Procter & Gamble's, the Unilevers, the Kraft Heinz, when they all start operating at much higher standards, and there's so many existing ideas and ways of doing things that are suddenly going to seem old. You know, the idea of demographic targeting only, you know, the idea of buying day part television or giving one message to everybody, or to the topic at hand that, oh, I'm a small brand or a small company, I can't do TV advertising because I need hundreds of thousands of dollars for a TV spot, or it's too expensive. I mean, those are all going to suddenly seem like old ideas, and when things get old, they don't go away, they just become incomplete. So what will happen is over time, the linear mindset and approach will become increasingly inefficient and effective. It'll still be there, but I think it'll be replaced by something that's much more exciting and better.
So to get Charlie, back to if it's okay, I wanna pipe in here for a minute because you said something that was really interesting. And I just came back from one of the conferences in New York, and one of the big items that came up is that across linear, you have a really difficult time actually, we shouldn't really use the word target, right, but actually reaching the correct consumer with the correct message, because most linear basically uses gender and age. And that's almost as strategic as linear could get. Now there's addressable household, there's other things we could do for sure. But when it comes to demographics, right, they're almost stuck in that box. And through CTV, there's just so many other types of information we could use, which we've talked about, whether someone's a mover, a homeowner, a home buyer, whether they're an empty nester, whether they're a long distance mover, a short distance mover, whether they're in market for furniture, right? Whatever it is, we can create just so much of a robust audience that flows into the system, that I think that that's really a game changer, especially as I've listened to a lot of the really large brands and what they're doing today. It's just so elementary, and there's just so much more we can do,
Michelle,
to get that right audience.
You just described, and then because you can always add on, right? Like you just described need states for people, their lifestyle, then you can add on their passions.
Yeah.
People who are really passionate about a certain topic, or I had a conversation with a CMO not too long ago who was so frustrated by, he kept getting demographic targeting, and the product that they have, he said, we appeal to skateboarders and surfers, and why isn't any of that in our targeting now?
Yeah.
And that I think gets, I want to make sure I answer comment on Lucy's points and questions, and answer the question related to this slide, that this is still very early. We're past the beginning, but it's still early, but we're at a point now where this can all really scale, which means it's going to happen really fast, and we'll get to that in a couple slides. But what most people are doing, and this is particularly true at the big agencies, where they're using CTV as a reach extender. So that they're making big upfront television buys, and then they're getting extra inventory on CTV, and they're adding to it and checking that box and moving on. So what they're not doing is programmatic, and that's what we're doing. That's what Strategist brings, is we're a programmatic CTV managed service. And so for us, what advanced connected TV, when we use that phrase, it's using CTV to activate and measure the whole purchase funnel. It's not just, it's making the attribution pieces much more powerful, and we're optimizing. We're optimizing every campaign, sometimes daily. It depends on the client. Those three standards of audience creation, messaging, and measurement are all operating at a higher level. And that's what advanced connected TV means. And it's not hard to go out and just get the inventory. What's hard and sophisticated is what we're offering together.
Yeah, Michelle, what I like as a former marketer about this relationship as well is, you're often looking at signals. And I love, movers and homeowners, as they're moving, make decisions early. A lot of people talk about the post move. Most decisions are made pre-move, and your data really identifies movers 35% earlier. I love that. And so when you think of the power of leveraging CTV in your upper or middle funnel, and you're able to get those signals 35% earlier to start talking to your customers, whether they're in the market to buy furniture or home services or new internet services or a car or change doctors or understand what restaurants are in their area. I mean, the use cases are endless. I just love, again, and in order for this to work well, you advertisers out there are dependent on the quality of data that's being used from your third-party source, and the quality of your data, Michelle, coupled with the power of Strategist, is just, I think, stellar. And I wish this had been around, when I was a marketer. It would have made my life a lot easier.